together.
All right.
Being frantic.
So on behalf of the CWTA, we are so grateful for you to join us and excited about our conversation tonight. This is really an historic moment. CWTA and as each of us, we are feel both excited and a sense of responsibility in what is in front of us, and enormous appreciation for each of you who ran for district councils at this moment, willing to take it on and help lead this effort, which given Chicago's history of police torture, of police misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct that goes back decades, we recognize that this is Chicago's opportunity to begin to get at that misconduct and turn a corner for all of our communities. And just a little background: Chicago Women Take Action began 10-ish years ago. And one of the first actions we took was to put together principles addressing police and prosecutorial misconduct, and sent it to then Mayor Emanuel. And when candidate Lightfoot ran for office, we sent her and President Preckwinkle our principles, which really align with the ordinance that eventually got passed. So we feel a depth of commitment and a sense that we want to do all possible to support those of you who have taken on this heavy load, but understand that we too, as each of us in our communities, bear that responsibility to help make this happen. So we're looking forward to a wonderful conversation tonight with amazing district council representatives. And at the end of the meeting, we are going to ask and invite each of you to participate with us in several ways going forward. So that this is a conversation, but we really see this as our supporting the launch and seeing what actions we each can take to make this successful. So with that, I would love to introduce Mary Gardner, is going to moderate our panel tonight. Mary is a wonderful friend of going back together to the Harold Washington days, but Mary is a longtime Austin resident and activist. She's a mom of 3 and a grandmom. She cut her teeth at Rainbow Push, but she's been feisty and helping move struggles ever since. And we are so, Mary is membership chair and of CWTA, and so it's my pleasure to turn it, Mary, to you, and thank you.
All right, look, y'all, give me a little love. Show me some love here. All right, yeah, there we go. So look, I'm super excited because the tone has already been set from just a pre-conversation. So if you missed that, that was a good one. But look, good evening to everybody. Thank you all for joining our May meeting. We do this every month. So don't make this your last time coming to see us. And again, we're going to come back to that at the end of the meeting. But tonight is also a first for CWTA. We have 6 speakers, y'all, and we're so excited and nervous and crazy about it because all of them are dynamite. And we're just excited about having them here. Y'all are our test babies tonight, what Jane referred to in terms of us just trying to start to put together a relationship, a rapport with you all. So thank you all for signing up for this one. So listen, y'all, just in alphabetical order, we've got Reverend Marilyn Pagan Banks, District 24, wave to us, Rev. Elise Edwards, District 11. Angelica Green from District 25. One of our own, y'all, Julia Klein from the 2nd District. I want to say District 2. And Jenny Schaefer from District 19. Hey. And also last but not least, from my district, DeAndre Rudis from District 15. Okay, so listen, I'm not going to talk long, and to maximize and hear from our speakers, they will each have 3 minutes to open as you wish and to answer this question here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what other steps you are or will be taking to mobilize your community as their elected ECPS rep and build that much needed trust around the concept of community policing and accountability. And so for this first question, we're just going to start in alphabetical order, and then we'll switch it up for the next question. So that means Reverend Marilyn, it is on you. And then please, following her would be Elise, and then Angelica, so on and so forth.
Thank you, and thank you so much for the invitation. I'm usually not used to going first because people will go by Pagan and not Banks, so thank you so much. Let me just say that I ran for this position, one, because the community invited me to run for the position and expressed a desire that I would consider it, and they told me why and why they thought it would work, and because they believed in me and spoke to me about it. We met with other folks that were also being asked to run as a slate so that we can, know one another, sort of quote unquote vet one another and begin to build community. And so for me, not only because I was asked, but because I know how important building community is to public safety. The best way to feel safe and to have a sense of safety is to know the people that live around you, work around you, spend money around you, or even struggling around you, right? Know them, speak to them, and begin to always, understand that what matters to one matters to the other, and how to begin to really build those relationships. And I've been in this community for going now 20 years. I've been working in the community longer than that, but living in the community 20 years. I've buried people here. I've rejoiced and celebrated with people and their visions and ideas here. And I really believe in the possibility of the community. I'm always just in awe of the gifts and the ways they show up, in spite and despite what's going on around us. And so I'm really looking forward to, in this position, in terms of how else I'm going to sort of garner relationships and political, strategy or conversations, really is about, for me, building the power of the community. Again, there is something about building trust, but I think that until we begin to know each other and know that what we're building isn't just for the person coming in because somebody else is going to get pushed out, when we begin to make space for people to create the community that they want together, then there's the possibility of sustaining that community together. And so that's sort of how I go about it. I'm really determined to build some power, some political power for our community so that the anti-Blackness that's faced around there can be wiped out, right? So that we can truly live into this diverse community that we say we're so proud of as Rogers Park. So that would mean that all kinds of people can live there and not those who are just deemed, safe, or you know what I mean, right?
30 seconds.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Thank you. So, okay.
Look forward to the conversation.
Elise?
Yes, so I am Elise Edwards. The community in which I live in is West Humboldt Park. And a little bit about me, I am a faith-based community organizer. That is, I consider first and foremost everything in which I do. I believe that I do have a call to put boots on the ground and, just experience healing through prayer and, outreach. So how I got started as the Police District Council, I am also a local block club president. I've had a phenomenal relationship with Chicago Police Department for X amount of time until I didn't. When they changed commanders, things went wrong, and I've experienced a different part, some of what others have complained about. And I won't go into a lot of detail there, but, knowing both sides, knowing, that there is a world that, can exist where, the community and, CPD can operate, together. That's what I'm fighting for. When you say how will I mobilize, within the community, I see myself doing the exact same thing that I did prior to me being elected, like, getting out there, allowing people to know what their rights are, doing a lot of listening, making sure that the input of the community is heard by those, the power that be, which is the commission, seeing how we can change policy and together, exercise our right and our power. So
Elise, tell us your communities you cover that your district and your district.
okay.
What communities are those?
So it's West Humboldt Park. It is the greatest part of it is the bigger part is Garfield Park, and then North Lawndale. So those three, West Humboldt Park, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale, those are the areas that the 11th district cover.
Okay, 11th district. And we have a few minutes, so I'm gonna jump back to Reverend Marilyn. Tell us your communities that are covered under your district.
I know more about wards, so the 48th, 40th, 49th, and 50th.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
But not all of the 48th and not all of the 40th.
Yeah.
All of the 49th though.
Cool, perfect. Okay, Miss Angelica Green, it's on you.
Hello, my name is Angelica Green. About me, I'm a woman in God, first and foremost. I'm a mother of three. I'm the district council elect for the 25th district. The neighborhoods that cover would be Austin, Belmont Cragen, Hermosa, some of Logan Square, and some of Humboldt Park. What are the steps that I plan to take to mobilize the community with this is to get community, basically, I got in the game a little late. I ran a little late. So my plan is to do what I did during the election and to get with people who are knowledgeable, align myself with people who already have the information, like Chicago Women Take Action, other organizations, other leaders, so we can get information out and have to make sure the community is coming to the meetings to make sure their voices are heard. Again, something I ran on was a promise, and my promise was to ensure that this position had power, and the power is only as strong as the community make it. And so I plan on it's already been done, like groundwork has been done. So my plan is to align myself with the leaders that's already doing the work and seeing what works, what does not work, and pushing forward, breaking disarming a lot of the gang mentality that's in the police office, in the CPD, to ensuring that trust and relationship between the two.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And all the way from the 2nd district, one of our own, Julia Klein.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, I've been a member of CWTA for a number of, I was going to say a number of months, but a number of years, number of decades. I don't know. What is time anymore, right? And it is nice to have so many familiar faces on tonight. And so forgive me if some of you have heard what I'm about to say before. I kind of tend to say the same thing. So I am relatively new to both politics and certainly local politics, and also to my community, which is Hyde Park. I live in Hyde Park. I represent the 2nd district, which is Hyde Park and Bronzeville, as well as Washington Park, Oakland, Kenwood, a few other small communities, the Gap. And I was very ambivalent, as Terry Watkins knows, who's on this call, about whether I was going to run for this or not. I was back and forth because in 2020, I co-founded a group called Neighbors Who Vote here in Hyde Park. And,
no kidding.
And
Respect.
Thank you. So yeah, we were very, 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 very busy doing our work of community organizing here in the community around voter activation and voter education and so forth. And But what caused me to decide to run is that I do have a background in restorative justice, and I am not a Christian, but I do have what I call a spiritual mission to activate a healing perspective when it comes to these questions of abuse. And one of the things, and I've got a podcast that talks about sexual abuse in the workplace. And the whole hypothesis of that podcast is that we need to use restorative justice to heal those toxic workplaces. And what I know to be true, know in the spiritual sense, what I know to be true about that kind of healing is that it starts by extending grace and compassion to those who have harmed us. And let me say this. It starts by opening the door to grace and compassion to those who have harmed us. It starts with harm cessation. If harm is still going on, there is no conversation to have other than consequences for whoever has harmed us. So if we stipulate that harm has stopped, and then we say we are open to a position of grace and compassion and redemption for those who have harmed us, now there's a series of questions to ask about whether the person in question or the entity in question is on a path of redemption or they're not. And it's complicated. Restorative justice is complicated and hard. But to me, it's all about extending healing. So in a very practical way, it's about offering mental health resources. We are in an absolute mental health crisis. And by that, I don't mean the ways that a lot of people on the right talk about it. I mean, just like we are stressed out, and we've been that way increasingly year after year, decade after decade. And then the pandemic just tipped us over the edge. And it's my firm knowing that if we can bring whatever the things are that reduce stress, from actual therapy to peace circles to even going out and getting a massage, right? The things that happen that bring our stress level down tend to decrease people's desire to exact acts of vengeance.
So Julia, so
yes.
I did apologize earlier, and I'm going to apologize again. Yeah,
I didn't hear
for this segment. But what some of us call, what you're talking about is purpose. Is purpose is what some of us call it and stuff. So we can relate to that and stuff. In this segment, next up is someone I'm excited to hear from, Miss Jenny Schaefer, all the way from the 19th District. The floor is yours.
Hey, thank you so much. My name is Jenny Schaefer. I am a district council member in the 19th, which is from Fullerton, which is up by like Lincoln Park area, all the way down to Lawrence, which is uptown. And in between, we have Roscoe Village, we have North Center and Lincoln Square. I actually live in North Center with my family. I have 3 kids. I was a special education teacher for many years. And when my oldest was born, I stayed home with her, but I did a lot of work on Southside schools and became close with all these students who were growing up in the same city as my then 3 kids, but having completely different experiences in that city. And just the contrast was really eyes like wide open for me. And it made me realize that, it's not the people or anything that's inherent about the different sides of the city, but it's exactly the resources that the different sides of the city have and what they have access to. And it really made me committed to doing this work and learning more about it. I started doing some work more and more on the South Side, but then realized like there was so much work that needed to be done right in my own community, and just education and making sure, the 19th district is a very upper middle class, majority white district. And there's just so much that we don't understand up here. And so really where I started an anti-racism group at my kids' school. I joined the social justice group at my temple, Michigan, and we worked with some of the other coalitions to pass the ECPS ordinance. So that's how I really got involved with this ordinance. And once it was passed, I was really excited to put all that I've learned and all the work into making this something that really was the intent of the ordinance. And I think one thing that we have over in our district, we have a different relationship with the police than other parts of the city, but I think we can really use that to capitalize on making the policing system into something we really want it to be, something that I think right now policing, every social problem has fallen on the police's shoulder. And I think that has not been fair to anyone. It's not fair to the community. It's not fair to the police. And I think what we need to do is really work to define what it is we want our police to do and what's their role in public safety, but then work to expand all the other important parts of public safety. We've talked about mental health. We've talked, violence interruption, making sure that the communities have the resources that they need so that they can have safer communities like we do over here in the North Side. So those are conversations that I'm really excited to be having and introducing people in our community with organizations that are doing this work already, because there's so much great work being done in Chicago, and also introducing ordinances and other things like that people are trying to pass and make happen so that we can ensure more equity and justice across the city.
Perfect. My timer just went off.
Look at that.
And just looking forward to you being able to make that connection to communities that have not really experienced that. That's going to be an awesome revelation down the road. Listen, y'all, last but not least, and it's only because he was the male at this particular segment, but it is my pleasure to give the floor to you, Mr. DeAndre Rudis. District.
Thanks. How y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for having us. I appreciate the opportunity. So I'll kind of give like a little timeline of myself. First and foremost, I'm a child of Austin. I grew up in the Austin community. I'm now a father of Austin. I have one child who's 3, currently working on my PhD. In fact, I'm looking to cross the finish line in December, walk across the stage next June. Would have been this June, but I ran for this position. So there's that. In 2012, that's when I first stood up for social justice when Trayvon got killed, marched downtown, but also understood that there was a lot of crime that happens in our community. So I wanted to get involved, got involved with that. In 2015, I went to For Justice or Else, which was the 20th year anniversary of the Million Man March. Heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speak about the need to have 100,000 Black soldiers in these neighborhoods willing to die for what they believed in. And I subscribed to that and I was ready. And since then, I've been a soldier. So 2016, Donald Trump won presidency. I was like, what the hell? So when I found out that he could affect the whole world, I knew I could affect the community. So I decided to run for alderman of the 37th Ward. We put that work in, you feel me? I saw Steve Robinson on. I met him around that time, and we've been jamming ever since. The Northwest Austin Council, they have a tenant in which public safety is a major part of it. So we've been involved in that effort ever since. Right around 2018, during that run, I ended up being a part of what's called the Chicago Neighborhood Policing Initiative, which allowed me to connect further with community, people, organizations, and everything that we need to reimagine public safety. So that is the work that I do now. That is what led me to this position. I utilized what I had already done in building relationship between police and community and problem solving in general to use that as a platform. And now we're here. And so I'm going to continue that work that I was doing. So when we talk about reaching out to community and how I'm gonna do that, I already have tons of connects and we're gonna lean on them further. And now that I'm in an elected position, I'll have the cachet to say, no, you gotta carry us on your newsletters. And you gotta make sure that the people know what the police district councils are and how we're available for them, because we can't do it alone. As Angelica said, we need groups like you all, but we need all the groups that already have some standing in community to get behind us and support us, because that's the only way this thing is gonna work. And that's all.
Okay, great.
Oh, and I'm from the 15th district. Sorry, 15th district, and 15 encompasses all of Austin from Division South.
All right, so we are looking good on time here. So, and if you all want to kind of go back and massage a little bit of that question into this next question, it is perfectly fair game on that. So here's the question. How is the approach to, you said reimagining public safety, but to this term, how is the approach to public safety different now that we have elected ECPS representatives? How is it different now? Because before it was, you know, the term and just a sexy thing that we said that's being bantered about. Now that you all are where you are, respected, elected, how is it different now, the approach? And I'm sorry, DeAndre, we're going to reverse it. But what I'll do is I'll go in the middle. I'll go to Julia Klein, and she'll be followed by Jenny Schaefer and DeAndre, and then we'll go back up to Reverend Marilyn, followed by Elise, and then Angelica. So we'll do it that way.
So how is it different now that you've got me
I'm sorry,
thinking?
Julia, 2 minutes on this question. My bad.
You've got me thinking about how much I want to say in response to your question, Mary. How is it different now that we've got elected people in office? I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know what I want to say, Mary. I don't know what I want to say to your question.
Give us a word. You can give us one word to give us a couple of words. That's cool. We don't expect y'all to have all the answers tonight, but give us one words that whatever your gut feeling is.
We need the community support more than we've ever needed it. Because and I've talked with several of our my fellow panelists, as well as there's a bunch of our ECPS representative DC district councils who are here on the call that are not on the panel, and a whole bunch of us, most of us that I've talked to, our heart is in organizing, and there's a bunch of you on this call, a bunch of CWTA members who are organizers, and that is so freaking hard. Organizing is a beast. Getting people to come out is a beast. Spreading the word is a beast. It takes an enormous amount of energy and organizational skill. And there are a lot of ways in which we have just not been set up to succeed. We have just not been set up to succeed. And I mean, there's no secret. Like, there's a whole lot of people around the city of Chicago who think that policing ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm going to keep this one short and just say we need you all's support more than we have ever needed it, because this is going to be hard.
So I just piggyback on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the first thing that came to my mind was also kind of what Julia was saying, that we, for the first time, have a group of 65, there soon to be 66 elected organizers who have our heart and our passion around making sure that communities have the appropriate types of policing, the appropriate public safety system set up. And now, not only are we organizers that really, really care, but we are in a position that we can actually do something about that. We have the ears of so many elected officials. We have the ears of organizations who are doing so many amazing things in the city. I think one of my favorite things is just talking to all these organizations who have all these fantastic ideas that they just need people to hear about them. They need people to support them. They need the word to be spread. And I think we're in a position that we can help do that. We can make sure people know about these organizations. We can bring them to our meetings and let them speak in front of our audiences. And we can also push electeds we can gather the community, hear what the community wants, and push electives to make the types of pass the types of ordinances, make the types of changes in the city that we know are needed to create real public safety. So I think that this is a really exciting opportunity. It's brand new, and it's going to be hard. And as Julia mentioned and other people said, this is 100% successful if people get involved. We can't do this by ourselves. This is definitely, none of us are the experts in all the things, but the more we get people involved and the more we hear the voices, the more successful and the more impactful we'll be. So thank you.
Well, let me tell you, CWTA is a no judgment zone here because this thing is brand new and we don't know. So no judgment zone here, but we're in it. All right, Mr. DeAndre, it's all you.
Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking with this particular question. So the work that we've been doing, or at least I've been doing since 2018, really, I think feeds into the narrative of reimagining public safety, because what we've been able to accomplish is having the community lead the direction of the police. And to give some examples, we had a block where drugs were being sold, and on that particular block, the neighbors thought that it was a good idea if a camera was moved to a different vantage point, if a building was torn down, because that's where the drugs were being sold and prostitution was going on. And we told our police officers and other electeds that this needs to happen, because we believe that as the community's representation at the time, that can help solve the issue that was going on in that particular block. And those things happened, and it did. The calls for service went down on that block. So this is recorded, and that's what reimagining public safety looks like. It's actually getting officers back into the field and solving longstanding problems in these communities, but it be community driven, so that the community who's connected to people, organizations, and other resources can actually help. It's nothing different than when a young man got stopped for selling drugs. Myself, Steve Robinson, attached to Northwest Austin Council, we were able to bring in Get to Work, Miss Jacobs, who was able to get the young man a job. He called in Wednesday, he got a job Friday. The only thing he needed was boots. The officers took him to get the boots donated from Skechers, and he was at work on Monday. At this time, this 2018, I'm driving the van to take him to work. And so that's just community police working together. That's reimagining public safety right there. You know what I mean? That's how you take care of community, and that's how you get everybody involved. And so for me, again, the work, and I speak highly of the work because I believe in it. I seriously believe in the work that we've been able to accomplish. And I just want to elevate that. And so I'm taking the same idea that I've already been doing since 2018, and I'm going to utilize my backing as an elected official to get even more accomplished.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Reverend Marilyn?
Agreeing with everything that's been said, I do want to say that what's really different is that the power really is in the hands of the community, and that this is very community centered rather than police centered, right? And because we are elected, the community has the power to hold us accountable in a very different way. For example, in my community, there are two persons who have been chairing the CAPS in this beat since I moved over here, right? And I know that they go to offer court support for police because they did it to my daughter when the police actually attacked my daughter, right? And one of those, actually both of those persons and a couple more have been on the Park Advisory Council that same period of time. So controlling not only the police and the narrative around safety and what makes safe communities, but controlling resources within the community that are supposed to be there for the community, right? So this is the Park District where they took away the basketball hoops, where, you know, you can only come inside and if you're part of a paid program or going to the bathroom, but there is no place to just kind of be. There's like, they really had to push hard for even like open gym, right? And so this resource that the community fought so hard for is now, we're working with them. The Park District folks are fine, but it's the folks that have been controlling, because there isn't a process like this where folks get to elect, you know, who is sort of representing them or doing the work. And I believe that it's going to be amazing. I believe that one of the things I say to folks all the time is that our communities have dreams, our communities have ideas, there's some ingenuity. What we lack is resource and access to resource, right? And so I believe that this is an opportunity to sort of make those connections. If folk really are serious about safe community and connecting that to thriving community, not just alternative policing, but community and economic development, then we're gonna say, okay, let's see you put your money where your progressive or liberal mouth is, right? If you say you care about children not being hit by, what you call it, stray bullets, then, we all want our children to live. So I don't care what you are. Let's put our resources together into the community.
Thank you, Rev. That was perfect. Elise, District 11.
Yes, District 11. Woo, you're taking notes over there, Miss Mary. Anyway, so for me, I can say this, as you've heard the story before, there is an experience that I had with the leadership with CPD before, and an experience that I had with CPD leadership after. And so leadership makes a huge difference. And one of the things in which, this whole body, and I'm going to make sure I say this, is that the district councils have no jurisdiction as far as who is our superintendent, but the whole body, meaning the commission, we're actually making a difference, because who is in leadership makes a huge difference. And I'm going to be transparent, is that when this opportunity first came across my ear gate, my eye gate, it was a hard no for me. I too started very late, because it was like, I'm good, because it's not going to make a difference. Why would I want to? I thought it was more of a, just check the box type, like, opportunity. But then, I got kind of talked into it. I threw my name in the hat. And what I realized very quickly, having the process explained from multiple people, is that we have all of this talent on the north side, on the south side, on the west side, you know what I mean? Like everybody collectively together coming up with ideas of things that may work for me now also may work for you. And so for me, when I reimagine this is a huge body, like everyone has already said, of community organizers coming together, and we have checks and balances. We have things in which now I can clearly go over to the north side and talk to, one of the district councils there and get some, input, get some ideas. What are you doing that's working? What are you doing that's not working? And so on and so forth. So for me, that's how I reimagine it. When I think about all across the city, we have all these people, all these organizers coming together, addressing the issues, and we're actually controlling who is over us and making decisions. That right there alone is huge. It has the potential to make a huge impact.
Perfect. Okay. 25th District, Angelica Green.
Yeah, so the reason why I think things will change is I'm a person who I love people. I love, I address things like I do my family. The community is my family. So I take action. I might not speak a lot about it, might not be able to break it down, because when there's a need, I want to meet the need, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to meet that need. So wherever an issue may present itself, whatever I need to do, that's what I'm doing. That's how I do with my kids. That's how I do with my family, getting them in the best school. So if the community comes with a need, like the promise I ran on was to advocate, to fight. And like something you told me, Ms. Mary, you was like, we sleep when it's done. And that's how I feel like this process is gonna have to be. We sleep when it's done, and we have to work hard. And this is a movement. So whatever a need, when the need presents itself, we have to meet that need. Now we have a way where we can say in policy changes, make sure policy is being executed, make sure that the things that should be done within the police and the community is being done. And when that's not, we just take action. And because I love my community, and love is an action word, I'm used to taking action, and whatever the action needs to be done in the moment, that's what I'm used to doing. So my aha moment was when Frank told me to act bad. Frank Chapman, he was like, act bad. Y'all got 24 staff members. You can do things. You got lawyers. Y'all got policy. You use it. And so that's what I plan on doing. I'm planning on using every resource we got. I plan on using whatever it is, whatever tool is at our hand to use to increase our safety in our community. I'm gonna do it, and whatever that takes. We sleep when it's done, right?
Yes, absolutely. All right, we're gonna move to the chat. First question from the chat. Okay. Do councilors feel that their role is to make change in the community and city at a broader level? And if you feel like that, what is the time frame? What do you think would be the time frame if you feel that way, to make change in the community and city at a broader level. And we know you all are going through a lot of training as well. So again, there is no wrong answer here. And so we're going to start with Elise, I'm gonna go to you.
I thought, I'm so sorry for raising my hand. I did not know if are you going to go in a certain order? Please ignore my hand.
No, we're just
Okay, you are going to start. Okay. Well, I can say this, I am very adamant about policy. For me, one of the things in which, I have asked CPD for 4 years has been the data. Like, I need to know when you say you did not respond to me because you were busy, I need to know, what does that look like? I need accountability. Officers can say whatever they want out of their mouth, but the data does not lie. So, if we are able to get to the bottom of, the response time, I think it was maybe 3 years ago that I sent CPD downtown headquarters a very comprehensive strategy, like, this is what you should do, because I work in an area where we deal with data. There was no response, but now I feel as if we have an opportunity to sort of force the hand of the powers that be to produce something that will actually have the community, have the accountability that we're looking for with CPD. So when you say, am I looking to change just in my area? I am looking for a specific change in my area, because my area may operate differently than another area. But I'm also looking for whatever can impact my area. Is there a way in which it can impact the whole system? So that's through policy. And of course, we don't specifically do that, but we raise that up to the commission so they can do that.
All right, perfect timing. Okay. Julia, it's your show, your floor.
You want me to answer the same question about
Yes,
citywide?
please. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a balancing act that we're all undertaking right now, because a police district is a lot of area. Once you are looking at it block by block and thinking to yourself, man, I need to get to know all the people on all these blocks. It's a lot. And so all of us are very focused on our district. And we recognize that there are systemic issues. And it's both in terms of systemic, meaning the police department and the FOP and the ways in which that system is working, but also the system in terms of the city council bureaucracy that created us. We're all looking at how this is off to the races, and we're like scratching our heads. We're like, oh, wait a minute. There's some ways that we need some of these things to change. We need, like, we would have made some different budgetary decisions than what some of these folks made, or we would have made some different choices about resource allocation. And that's not directly about policing, but it is about where the focus of the problem solving is. And several people said, I think Marilyn most vociferously pointed to community has all the power now. Well, yes, and all of the money, as far as our effort, is with the city, the staff, the city bureaucracy that created us. And so, it's this is just complex stuff. Yes, we're trying to. And the part of Carol's question, I think, was time frame. I mean, look, every single incident of violence that gets headed off at the pass is a person's life that's changed. So in a sense, the time frame is immediate. We want to immediately start impacting change. Are we gonna rewrite the FOP contract such that it's more just and equitable and racially unbiased? I don't think that that's going to be part of our goal. I don't know, and certainly I don't know about a time frame.
Thank you. Perfect timing, Ms. Schaefer. And Jane, can you just give me a second? Because I got like four loaded. We got 4 questions. Bam, bam, bam. And they're good ones. So Jenny, it's all you.
Okay, sorry, can you, my internet was bad. Can you just repeat the question one last time? I apologize.
Yes, the question is, let me get back to it here. The question is, as a district counselor, do you feel that your role is to make change in the community and city at a broader level? And if so, what does that time frame look like?
Got it. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
I think we are in a kind of unique position where we can kind of do both. We're obviously uniquely focused in our police district and really working with the people in our area, but we have the community commission above us. And I think one of the important roles that I see us doing is feeding what our community is thinking up to the commission and making sure the commission hears those voices and works to address the issues that we're hearing in the community. And that has a citywide impact. So I think that it can work both ways. I also think that the commission can also come down to us and say, hey, this is what we're talking about. You know, what is happening in your district? How is that working? So I do think that we all are going to be working individually in our communities, but I also think the collaboration between us all and with the community commission at large is going to be a really important aspect of and strength that this commission has.
Thank you. You know what? If I was one of these DC folks, I'd be texting you like, hey, can we have lunch? Because I just love your energy, Jenny, and I love the fact that you're experiencing something totally different as far as what happens in my neighborhood and stuff. So you are just an awesome resource sitting there for us as I kick it to my district, 15th district, DeAndre.
Yeah, I think Jenny hit it right on the head. I mean, and then looking at least what she put in terms of time. So locally, we could probably see some things happen a lot faster than what we will see on a larger scale. We've even had questions like these come up as we were introducing district council members and some of the meetings that we've already been having. And one of the things that Damon, who was the deputy director of the district councils, I suppose, he said that, you know, don't expect any of these changes to happen, you know, expediently, so to speak, you know. And so speaking to what I would like to see, you know, in our district, first and foremost, in our community, it is already documented that we get stopped at a larger rate. And we also either have our calls for service go unanswered or they're answered very slowly. So I want to see change affected in those two areas immediately for us, right? And I would love to see within a 6-month time frame or something that we can get that transparency that Elise was talking about, because that will let us know how calls for service are being answered in the 15th district. I would also like to get those numbers and that data to suggest that the frequent stops aren't working and they need to get stopped, you know. So I would love to see that within a 6-month time frame. Is something, and again, this is just me speaking as an individual because my whole group isn't here, so we've not talked about this, but I think 6 months can get something done. But in terms of what the changes in across the city, I mean, as some foundation setters, we got 4 years to do that, but I'd like to see something changed within 2, and that's just because I just like to put numbers and dates on things.
All right, Reverend Marilyn, to close this particular question out. Thank you, DeAndre.
You know, again, everything that's been said, I don't have any disagreements, right? You know how they say, you know, I haven't found any lies. But adding to that is back to my my commitment to economic and community development. And so thinking about what's happening with the city, like in this moment. For example, one of the chambers of commerce in the community got a grant to do a study, got a grant from the city to do a study of the Howard Street corridor. And like we're pushing and having conversation to make sure that it's including folks from the community and not just business owners and stuff like that. Like, so understanding those connections and having conversations saying, you know, again, if you want safety, if you want, you know, the shooting that's happening right here, or the open air drug market to not be happening, then we need to be providing jobs. We need to be able to resource people who are trying to like maybe go to school or have, you know, affordable housing and stuff like that. And like making those connections to, again, the development of the community and have folks think about that from a sense of not just bringing in money and businesses, but lifting a community in order to address, the economic violence first and foremost, that will lead to, and too often leads to, the other types of violence, mental health issues, drug abuse, all those things, right, need to be addressed on a city level, because otherwise what happens is, as we sort of take responsibility for our communities and people move, then we don't want to be shifting anybody to somebody else's community, right? So one, it's not about displacing ever, but it's also not about ridding, people should not be dealt with as problems, but as people, that there are problems we have to address so people can live out their full humanity with respect and dignity and love and safety. Boom.
Perfect. All right. So actually one person can answer this question because it's pretty general. Did the FOP win seats? And if that's so, well, they want to know the impact on restorative justice. I want to know how many seats did they win. I mean, I shouldn't say just one. You all are certainly welcome to chime in. This will be a 1 minute period here. So we're going to just go back to, all right, Angelica. And if you don't know how many, then you could skip
I
that.
don't know the exact number. I think it's like 8, but I'm not sure the exact number. But I think that I don't think the impact will be as powerful as we thought it would be. I think the community has more say, in the majority of the district councils and the support our community and not FOP. So I don't think the impact will be as sufficient as we thought it would be. So yes, we have one FOP endorsed actually in 15th district, and then some North Side. So yes. Yeah.
Okay, Julia.
What I'll just say is that it's not necessarily easy to know, because there were some people who were elected that were not, and certainly some people who were running that were not endorsed by the FOP, but they certainly support FOP. And I'll say that, it starts to be blurry lines too, because, what most of us will say some version of, we don't want to demonize all police officers. The problem is the system or the police department. We just don't want people to be, beating us for no reason. Most of us will say some version of that. But then, there's a lot of gray along that spectrum that is even represented among the 66 of us. To what extent do we see the existing policing structures as part of the solution, and to what extent do we see existing policing, and I mean things like COPA and the police board and OIG, to what extent are those never going to be the solution, which is my opinion. But then there's others who are like, no, we got to work within the existing systems. And FOP is just kind of like a further to the right extension of that spectrum. So it's not a easy answer. It's my long.
Okay, thank you. So let me ask this. Are there other members that want to respond to that? You're welcome to do that. Okay, Elise, I'll go to you. Anybody else? Because if not, then I'll just move to, okay, Elise and Jenny, and then I'll go to the next question.
And I'll be real quick.
It's fine. Go ahead.
No, I sort of feel like if we have FOP candidates on the commission, that would have been so much more worse than having FOP candidates in certain areas, because, we're raising up issues to the commission, and the commission will have the ultimate say so to follow certain things. Now, I can say if there were in some of our most troublesome areas, like the 11th district, we rank very high on complaints, against officers and, use of force and, crime and, all of that. So if we had all FOP candidates in that area, this area may suffer, but when we think about as a totality, all people or, all districts, when we're talking about policy, may be influenced differently. So that's, and I don't know any area that is completely underserved and high complaints that have all FOP candidates.
Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, just real quick as well. Veronica put out here that so there was a coalition that Carper kind of led that, and 16 out of the 22 district councils are majority Carper backed allies. So I think that's a good sign for us in the future of what these positions can do. But I will say over and on the north side, the FOP spent over $25,000 to try and put money into candidates running against us to try and kick us off the ballot. Like, they actively try to make this not happen. So to say that, like, oh, they're, you know, we have the majority, it's going to be okay. I think that's also naive, and we just need to keep on fighting and keep making sure that the community voice is centered and that, you know, all of us speak up and, you know, participate as much as we can.
Awesome. Okay. So, all right. Next question is, what kind of support do you, as an elected rep, do you want to see from your community, and when, and if you have a location, where will your first meeting be? And we're going to start with Julia. And again, we're going to go a minute. I'm being generous with the minute a little bit because we're doing good.
So the second question is easy and quick for us. The second district, our first meeting is going to be on Wednesday, May 10th. I think we are one of the earliest citywide. Wednesday, May 10th at 6 p.m. at King Prep High School, which is at 54. I'm terrible with numbers. It's on Drexel. It's King Prep High School. Google it. And then the second, and what kind of support do we need from our community? Most importantly, what we need is.
Do you want, not me, but as a DC rep, what do you want from your communities? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Two things. Number one, bodies at the meetings. We need people to spread. I want people to spread the word. I want people to realize that this matters. I want people to believe that we actually could change something. I want to spark our 70% of the city who doesn't vote out of their apathy and into believing that something could actually change if they got involved with this. That's one thing. And the second thing is very explicit and discreet, and most people won't be able to help with this, but maybe somebody can. We need somebody to build us a database. Because one of our most important responsibilities is to surface accusations of police misconduct, which are currently going unreported. Okay. And once those start getting reported to us, we need a database for those to go into. So we need.
And again, I apologize. So sorry. But we do have to go next to Miss Jenny Schaefer. Same question.
So I just threw it in there in the chat. The 19th district is May 30th at 6:30. That's our first meeting. We haven't found a location yet, but we will get that out. I'm going to post in a minute. We have created a survey for people who are living, working, attending school, who have business for whatever reason in the 19th district, that we would love for people to fill out to get their contact information, and so that we can kind of have emails to let people know more about our meetings. But what do I really want? I think having the difficult conversations, being able to sit down with somebody who has different ideas and be able to listen to them, and then for them to be able to listen to me and to be able to come together to talk about really the future of policing in Chicago.
All right, thank you so much. DeAndre?
Yeah, I just threw it in the chat as well. So 15th district right now, we have circled June 8th at 6 p.m. at Bethel New Life, which is 1400 North Lamont. And for me, it is, I just got to echo what everybody else said. Come out, let people know, but I do understand that it's our responsibility as well. So I am somebody that loves the boots on the ground, straight door-to-door action. So I'm gonna be doing all I need to do. I have a website already, have a newsletter. I'm ready to do some real creative things to try to get our people informed, educated, and essentially organized around whatever the policing issues are that exist in the 15th district.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Reverend Marilyn.
And I also just put it in the chat. So we will have our first monthly meeting on May 21st, Sunday, from 3 to 4:30 p.m. and the locations to be determined.
Okay, and so if there are other DC reps that are with us, please drop your information in the chat as well, because we're gonna post it on our calendar and stuff. Thank you. All right, we are, I think, Elise?
Yes, so for the 11th district, I also dropped it in the chat. We are meeting the second Wednesday in June. That'll be June the 14th at 6 p.m. at Legler Library. And what you're asking, what do I, want for the community? Like everyone else, I put it in the chat earlier, be present. Be present. Don't just, we do need your bodies, be there, but be bold, speak up, like, get creative, take time to like think about, what you're thinking about and bring that to the meeting. Give us some solutions.
Awesome. Angelica?
The 25th will be on June 15th at Amundsen Park. And what we need is for the community from all backgrounds to come out. And I would like for things to be presented to us before something happens, so we can be proactive with addressing police with our concerns and needs. I would like information to be funneled to us in whatever way that can be. And I think that's through our Block Club leaders, our local newspapers, and our community organizers.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. DeAndre, your hands up?
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say one thing that we could utilize too is spaces to meet. So if anybody in the neighborhood knows where we could actually meet, that way we can keep a running list of different places. Maybe we don't want to have it at the same place all the time. We could just move it around different spots in the district. So that'll help as well. That's
awesome. Excellent. Yeah, great thinking there. So the next question is, what are if you don't have 3, that's fine, but what are 3 goals that you want to achieve or accomplish in the next 6 months, possibly a year, with this whole police accountability? What is it that you're hoping to achieve in the next 6 months to 6 to 12 months? And stuff. And I'm gonna throw out there, I think, community trust is gonna take a minute to build. That ain't gonna come in a week or a month or so. So we're gonna start with, because I had to remember, we're gonna start with Jenny.
Well, I've mentioned this before, but I think one of the important things to me is really defining what we want our police to be doing and where we want to focus, where we want them focusing their energy on, so that we can also define what else goes into public safety and making sure that we're working to expand the public safety systems, so that we can, one of the things that we talk a lot about in the 19th district is making sure that we have mental health care workers responding to mental health care crises, working to pass ordinances like treatment, not trauma. I think that's a huge goal of ours in the next 12 months for sure. Ordinances like Bring Chicago Home. So I think, and that all begins, I think, by making sure we really know what we want our police to be doing and what, like I said, what else needs to be done in order to create real public safety systems. Another thing that we want to do is just continue to bring these organizations into our meetings, continue to hear about all the amazing things, all the experts and that are working in these public safety fields, bring them into the conversation so that people are aware of them and can call on them when we need to for alternatives to policing, because I don't believe that police are the answers to everything that we've been asking them to do.
Thank you. All right, DeAndre, we're back at you.
So yeah, as I mentioned, and what I ran on was, just definitely transparency. So I would love to be able within the 6 months see those numbers, to see calls for service for the community. I would also like to see the frequency of stops and recorded and to also, when we talk about the accountability piece, I would like to see more rationale around why you are actually stopping people. So that would be great for the community that has been harmed in that way to know. And then the last thing that I would definitely like us, I don't know if we'd have something done, but I would definitely like to get at least a policy in the works, of something that we all can get around. As I mentioned in the last meeting, they stole my car 3 weeks ago. And we need to, come on, Gene, we need to figure out what to do in that regard, because the car theft is really getting out of hand. Not only that, but they're also stealing people's what's the damn thing on your motor, they sawing the thing off, you know what I'm talking about, the thing
Catalytic converter.
there you go, man. And they wilding out with that too, you know what I mean? So we all about public safety, so we got to figure out what to do with that. So I would love to be able to figure out something to address these issues around cars and those other two things that I mentioned, the transparency, and then when people are getting stopped, we actually got some real accountability, some real reasons and answers as to why.
Great, thank you so much. Reverend Marilyn.
Well, first of all, I even mentioned a lot during the campaign that I'm not coming with a whole lot of answers because they need to come from the community, right? And so I think that the goals also need to come from the community. But in order to get there, we have to build a community that's willing to gather, to share, to be vulnerable, to be creative, and to put their ideas into some kind of action. And so I'm hoping that base, that these meetings not just be some, let's talk about what's happening as a district, but these meetings become spaces where folk are becoming more civically engaged, more engaged with what's happening in the community and the decisions that are being made around them that often impact them more than others, but they're not there, when the decisions are being talked about. And so that again, that core of folk who begin to believe that the process can work for them, especially since it's new and there's an ability to I don't want to use the word enforce, but again, hold accountable and be in community together in some very intentional ways, not some loosey-goosey ways. And I believe that if that is beginning, like you said, it's going to take some time. I think it's a reminder that there's the urgency of now. At the same time, we have to hold space to build trust, and that happens slow. If you want it to be real, right?
Yes, thank you so much. Sorry. All righty, Miss Elise, and then followed by Angelica.
Okay, so I will, this is a minute question, right? So I would say that
30 seconds.
Oh my gosh, 30 seconds. Good Lord. Okay. In my 30 seconds, 3 things that I would like to see. Our group got together, over the last week or so, and we've come up with some agreements that we want to see as district councils, and we want to bring that to the community at our first meeting. And, over the next 6 months, I'd like for all of us to be on the same page. What is the strategy that we want to see? The second thing would be, I don't think that we would make a huge change of some of the things that we have on that paper, but I'd love for, CPD or the powers that be to at least be in agreement with some of those things. That is a goal. The third thing that I would say is I need the ride and dies. I need those people who are ambassadors like MPI has, they're going to be with us throughout this duration of 4 years. And I want to identify who those people are and have them be on this with us throughout the whole tenure. So.
Thank you.
Is that 30 seconds?
Look, it was within your minute.
One of the 3 things that I would like to see. First, I would like to see the elected officials that are seated, the aldermen, really get behind district council. So in an effort to boost the power that we have, because again, I can't say it enough. District council is only as powerful as the people make it and these elected officials. So if they get behind us and push us hard. Another thing that I've learned was the guns on the street. There's a lot of guns being reported stolen. So what people are doing are buying more guns. So I want to get more information on that and see how we can change that, again, being proactive to prevent a lot of deaths and shooting of our kids The third thing, would like to see what are some of these offenses that some of the officers that have on them who may have come into our communities in the wrong way. And if they're still on the police, are they still coming to our communities where they have been filed complaints against them and they have a long rap sheet to get that information and see how we can start moving forward with getting those police out of our neighborhood, the wrong police. And that's it.
All right, thank you so much. And my closing is quick, and then I'm gonna pitch it back to Jane. Listen, silos don't work for this project for us. And I'm saying us because I'm all in, just as a resident of the city of Chicago. We need to connect throughout the city. I think this thing can work. Police, community policing and accountability can work like crazy. If y'all know what's going on the north side, south side, know what's going on the east side, so on and so forth. So that's what I want to just put out there to you all. And thank you guys so much for showing up tonight. And I'm just looking forward to seeing, this is just the beginning. So with that, I am going to just say to CWTA, thank you all for, being patient with me. And look, thank you to the reps for making me look good by staying within the time frame. And with that, I'll give it back to Jane Ramsey. And also I want to shout out Mary D, who's been a great person to work with on this committee as well.
Yeah, so Mary Gardner, you did a wonderful job, and each of our panelists, thank you so much for what you've taken on, for helping us understand what's going on and helping us connect. And with that, CWTA is creating a district council action team. Please join us. I'm putting in chat right now. If you are interested, we need at least one person in each of the district council districts to attend regularly district council meetings to help us mobilize our members within the districts and the community to work in support with the district council. So please email Sherry at chicagowomentake.action.org and include your district council number. And of course, your contact information. And we want to create this team. We are looking to do several more meetings like this. This is the first of a series that we see that we are doing. We want to invite other district council reps at future meetings. We look forward. We're in partnership with you guys who are here tonight, our district council panel. So it's wonderful to get to know you, to understand what the issues are, to know what the next meeting dates are. I think we have congratulations. You're not being inaugurated tomorrow. Tomorrow we can't be there, but we can cheer you on. And so just know that this is official tomorrow. Yes.
And also, Jane, you all can, Sherry, help me with this. This will be on our website, so you can take this with you and use this meeting at your leisure. So this is not a one-off here and stuff.
I just wanted to let you know that we just found out that they're not requiring RSVPs, and so you're all welcome to attend. It's going to be open.
Oh, is that you talking in person?
Yep,
Marilyn.
Yep, it will not be live streamed, but it is a first come, first be seated kind of thing. Doors open at 9:15.
And where is that?
It's at the Harold Washington Cultural Library,
yes,
4800 on King Drive. Is that correct, Betty? I believe.
Is it at the Cultural Center or the library? The library is on. No, the library is on Ida B. Wells Drive.
No, it's the Cultural Center,
47th and King Drive.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And
at 9:15, program starts at 10.
And
so
so
that's what a great opportunity. So as many of us should try to get there and cheer you on.
Just found out.
Please let us know.
About to share it. I was about to share it online. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jane.
Then
I realized we don't want the crazies there.
I love Reverend Marilyn.
Use that language. We don't want those who are going to turn this into something ugly when it should be something that we're celebrating.
Yes. Oh,
Let me
absolutely.
not use language that's not appropriate, but
And listen,
Yeah.
before we go, I really just want to hand this back to our president. I don't see her, but I think she's still here. Is Jackie?
He's here.
All right.
He's
Jackie,
here.
we're gonna give it to you to close us out, if you don't mind.
Jackie?
So Jackie may have stepped away. Jackie? So let us.
I just couldn't find the.
Got it. Okay.
mute button.
Okay.
But I am here. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jane. And thank all of our guests. This was really an enlightening conversation. I wish that I had not been late and I could have heard everything you had to say, particularly as I heard somebody say the pre-discussion was the best discussion of all. But yes, oh gosh, I can't even keep my video on. But hope to see you again. Unfortunately, there's a Urban League event tomorrow. I won't be able to get to the swearing in, but I will be definitely thinking about you and rooting for you. So with that, unless someone else has something else, thank you much and have a great evening and keep up with us as we will keep up with you.
Thanks to all of you for what you're doing. All I have to say is I really was kind of skeptical about the effectiveness of these police councils, but after this meeting, really, I feel really good about, and hopefully we here in South Shore will be able to do something, not just for our own police council, but to help, you know, the citywide effort that you folks are talking about. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you for the invitation.
All right.
To work into